Whoa, guys. There's a bunch of lolcow stuff that's happened. And boy, oh boy, we need to cover it. We're going to cover it rapid fire style. So if you like this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe. I got 3 lolcow stories for you. The first lolcow story, we're going to talk about the quartering melting down versus D-Day Cobra. The second lolcow story, we're going to talk about DSP drunk calling wings. And the final lolcow story, we're going to talk about RTU attempting to dox Snort Hogan. So, it's crazy. We got to get into it. So, first we got to talk about this quartering stuff. So, for those of you that don't know, the quartering, at one point in one of his streams, and he's been ongoing with Kino Casino or whatever, they clip him and shit. So at one point, the quartering tried to claim that D-Day Cobra, Geeks and Gamers, was failing, like his channel's failing. However, D-Day Cobra came with receipts in response, showing he's actually 3rd in the world in Super Chats. So, once this happened, of course, the quartering was not happy. Supposedly, they patched stuff up behind the scenes, except the quartering didn't patch stuff up behind the scenes. He didn't follow Geeks and Gamers back. And as a result, D-Day Cobra decided to make fun of the quartering for what happened to him on Twitter. And here's what happened to him on Twitter. He was scrolling along, and there in plain view for his audience was boobs, a vagina, hardcore porn, and a cream pie. I know I'm not kidding. Then the quartering tried to get on Twitter and say, hey, it's this degenerate platform, Elon Musk, he's to blame for this, and blah, blah, blah. Then the readers added context, which said that basically the quartering searched for this stuff, and that he looks at this stuff. And there was proof of that. And that turned out really bad for the quartering here. Because, like I said, Jeremy brought all this up. Jeremy from D-Day Cobra brought it all up in his video, completely destroying the quartering. Then, as a result, the quartering himself had a total fucking meltdown on a solo stream where he was coping, where he was seething, and where he was angry, and completely made himself look like an ass clown. There's nobody who thinks the quartering won this interaction whatsoever. Even making claims that D-Day Cobra's audience was leaving him and joining his Rumble page. However, thanks to the quartering's own idiotic behavior, we know that's not true because he showed his Rumble dashboard where there was 0 new subscribers. Congratulations. And he only has 170 members. And it was proven without a shadow of a doubt that he view bots because the amount of watch time doesn't add up even close to the amount of views and subscriptions, and it doesn't align. So, not good for the quartering, taking another giant L here, while D-Day Cobra gets the W. Then, in our second lolcow story, we have DSP drunk calling wings in the middle of the night. I don't know why Wings thinks it's a good idea to stream at 4 or 5 in the morning. I guess it's like 2 in the morning, Renton, Washington time, where DSP's from. And that's when DSP likes to get loaded. For those of you that don't know, when DSP does a morning stream and then he does an evening stream, after that evening stream, dude gets loaded. But this time, DSP was caught, in recording. He's on Wings live stream in audio, sounding completely sloshed. Keep in mind, he paid $50 to Wings in a super chat. This is the same guy that will beg you for $150 a stream. Paid Wings of Redemption $50 in super chat. My God. I don't know what he thinks he's getting out of this. Both of these guys honestly just need to join LolCal Live with Boogie at this point. It makes sense. But neither one of these guys will, and they'll suffer for it. Now, DSP makes more money than Wings, but he also spends it all and lives hand to mouth, and begging. Wings, on the other hand, doesn't want to do anything, so therefore his money sits around. But he begs, and he performs worse than DSP. So, what happens when we put these two sad sacks of human beings together? Well, they get together to bitch and moan about, you guessed it, detractors. Because there are no two people on the internet that have bitched, whined, or complained more in their life about detractors. And it's hilarious. DSP is calling up Wings to tell him, hey, you may not realize this, but you have detractors in your chat, bro. You got detractors playing Arc Raiders with you. And Wings didn't even seem to mind or care. But DSP is so concerned with the detractors all the time that he is starting to get to the point where he's worried about Wings detractors. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, if you have an audience, whether they're detractors or not, just do your thing. What is the problem? Why is everything going to be, let's build a narrative that defeats the detractors? Because you will never defeat them. And even if you do defeat the detractors, that's more than half your audience. A lot of them like to pitch $1 or $2 your way just to insult you. That's where you get a lot of your money from, other than your dents, which will eventually go away and your business model fails. Now, we know DSP is about a year away from being out of bankruptcy. Once he does that, we know he's going to rack up the credit card debt, probably on WWE champions. Wings, by comparison, almost seems reasonable. The problem is Wings is going through a deep depression, mostly due to his weight. And he can't seem to get out of it because he can't put the fucking fork down. Now, look, I know I'm fat myself, but I'm not Wings fat. Holy shit. Wings is going to be on my 600-pound life soon. Before you know it, he beat the stomach surgery. And anyway, so this sad conversation went on for a while. And finally, the most funny part about it was Phil's wife walks in the room and complains that he's being too loud. And he immediately apologizes to her like a little bitch. A man of the house would tell a woman that's walking in on a conversation, and I know because I've had this happen to me on video, and a woman I was with got mad at me. She was trying to ask me who I'm on the phone with, and I said, excuse me, I'm on the phone in a private conversation. I'll talk to you here in a little bit. Was she pissed at me? Absolutely. But then we talked and it was fine. And I didn't have to apologize or capitulate like a little bitch. And that's what DSP did to Kat. Fat Kat, his wife. So, that phone call was interesting for all the wrong reasons. Then we finally get to the third and final LolCal story that's happened recently. And that is RTU was caught totally red-handed trying to dox Snort Hogan. Again, why, I do not know, other than, well, Snort Hogan's criticized me, therefore I should dox him. Ridiculous. You are a public figure. You're going to have people criticize you, including me, and you probably want to have me doxxed too. You still have you've always had the lolcow mindset, but no matter what you say to people, you are still the same Rich in 2024 that tried to hack Jay. You're still the same Rich from 2024 that tried to make his life a living hell and try to make all your enemies' life a living hell through 2024 and 2025, now in 2026. You want to dox people who disagree with you. You want to hurt people in real life for stupid shit that you say on the internet and people criticize you for. And anytime you get criticism, you want to hide behind your family and use them as a shield. But you don't care what your actions do to hurt somebody else in real life and their family. I don't know if Snort Hogan has any kids, but you don't give a fuck if he does or not. You just want to find out who he is. You want to send clips to his real life job, or you want to make his life a living hell in some way. Why don't you instead just respond to him on video and do it on the public forum? Of course, when you do that, you melt down and look like a fucking unhinged lunatic, because you are one. Because you have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. And everybody who slightly even disagrees with you politically is absolutely your public enemy number one. Because you've been completely indoctrinated by the far left to hate everyone and everything. Only because your life is miserable and pathetic. Because you still live with your parents, and you have a failing YouTube channel, and you deleted a channel that had 1 million subs. Because you're a fucking idiot and wish you didn't do so. So, RTU, my advice for you is the same advice I'd be giving to Wings, is the same advice I'd be giving to the Quartering, and it's the same advice that I'm giving to DSP. Stop being a fucking lolcow. Take something called accountability. Consider getting a real job. And, if you're going to continue to be on the internet, learn to shake that shit off your shoulders. Okay? Grow some thicker skin and quit being such effeminate little pussies online. And people will talk about you a lot less because you're not really interesting to begin with. Now, that being said, now that I'm done talking about the 4 horsemen of lolcowdom, why don't you all leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know, what did you think about all this stuff? But until next time, this is RJ signing out. Have a good one.